glad to have you join us on Asset Television News. I am Eugenia Solomon. First, the headlines. Joint Admissions Board meets heads of new universities, warns against admission malpractices. Rivers women protest in support of sole administrator. Nigerians urged to keep eagle eye on security. The detail. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, Jamb, has organized an interactive session for heads of newly established tertiary institutions in order to introduce them to the regulatory framework guiding admission processing on the Central Admissions Processing System, CAPS, and also the operations of the Integrated Brochure and Syllabus System, IBAS. This is as the part of its regulatory mandate to conduct admissions into all tertiary institutions of learning across the country. Speaking at the meeting in Abuja, Jamb Registrar Professor Ishaq Oloyede explained that the Central Admission Processing System, CAPS, created in 2017, is an automated system of processing admissions as the system ensures transparency, fairness, inclusiveness, eliminates multiple admissions, among others.
As a result of your coming on board late in the session, Jamb deemed it fit to hold an interactive session to introduce you to the regulatory framework guiding admission processing on CAPS, Central Admission Processing System, and also operation of our Integrated Brochure and Syllabus System, IBAS. For the benefit of those of us who are entirely new, the Central Admission Processing, CAPS, was created in 2017, and it is an automated system of processing admission. You remember, CAPS makes it possible for the admission officer to sit down anywhere in the world and process to the Vice Chancellor, Rector, and Provost. And it's also possible for the Provost, Rector, and Vice Chancellor to be anywhere in the world and recommend to Jamb.
Well, Jamb further explained that the Integrated Brochure and Syllabus System, IBAS, created in 2018, is a system where institutions prescribed their specific entry requirements, and candidates are guided through the eligibility checker. For intended
we have also
registration. According to Jamb Registrar, the CAPS mail is for admissions-related matters with the institutions, while the IBAS is for other matters, institutions, and programs upload and editing.
We have also introduced what we call Integrated Brochure and Syllabus System, IBAS, which was created in 2018 as an online system where institutions prescribe their specific entry requirements, and candidates are guided through the eligibility checker for intended programs before registration. What that means is that as single, as unitary, as Nigeria educational system appears to be, we have our differences. There are universities that will not accept certain things. There are universities that will not take 2 sittings of school cert. We allow each institution to develop its own characteristics, because the law establishing Jamb states it clearly that you admit without compromising the special characteristic of every institution. That's why we created IBAS, which will specify the peculiarities, the peculiar demands of each of the institutions.
Well, the meeting is also to outline proper procedure for recruiting candidates for the 2025 admissions and for the 2024 for those whose commencement date was 2024, as Jamb insists that it ceased to receive any communication on paper from any of the three sister regulatory agencies and the institutions. Hundreds of women in Rivers State marched on Monday in Port Harcourt in support of the state of emergencies of the state's declaration of the state of emergency. The women, all dressed in white, gathered at the Garrison bus stop in the city center at 8 a.m. to begin the rally. The women sang solidarity songs in support of the sole administrator, Vice Admiral Ibokete Ibas, retired, along Arbor Road and marching towards the government house in Port Harcourt.
What is your problem? I can say that you don't have to go one step. Not the Fubara government. Easy Aka Jehovah Nemema.
Well, recall that last week, hundreds of women under the aegis of Rivers Women for SEAM staged a protest against the state of emergency and the suspension of Governor Siminalai Fubara. Asset Television News will make a return after the breather. Welcome back from that break, and if you're just joining us, you're watching the news on Assets Television. Nigeria has consistently witnessed challenges in her security system. These challenges, some said, are sponsored by some highly laced individuals to suit their purposes. The situation in Nigeria has lingered since 1999 with Boko Haram, when Boko Haram took everyone by surprise. After Boko Haram, then came ISWAP, which now splits into faction, giving rise to Lukarawa. How can Nigeria get out of this situation? We put the question before Air Commodore Abayomi Balogun, retired, a former fighter pilot in Liberia and Sierra Leone.
What is responsible for insecurity in Nigeria? I want to say that it's our collective fault, all of us as Nigerians, because the challenges we're having today is not from the moon. The crimes being committed against Nigeria are by Nigerians. So how come we Nigerians cannot detect those people that are causing us harm and indicate them to the authority? So we all have a role to play in how to secure this country, both the security agencies and the civilians in this Nigeria. It should be an all-inclusive thing. Everybody must accept that a challenge to a Nigerian anywhere is a challenge to every Nigerian everywhere. And until we accept that, we'll continue to have the security challenges we are having. Now we have put everything in the hands of the security agencies, particularly the armed forces. Looking at Nigeria as big as we are, currently the armed forces and the security agencies are deployed all over Nigeria. Now, what is the strength of the armed forces? Can they adequately police Nigeria? No. They have to be complemented. Their efforts must be supported by you and I to make sure we all keep this nation safe. So we must first agree that it's a collective responsibility that we have, and then we can move from there.
Are you seeing in the next future that Nigeria will be free and return back to its normal status?
Yes, Nigeria can be free. There's no problem in this world that is not surmountable. It only requires people to sit down, do some analysis of where we are coming from, look at where we are today, and see how to progress tomorrow. Because nations in the world have found themselves in this kind of situation, and they eventually overcome. But then it's not a child's play, because without security, nothing else. So the government and the people must first accept that that security threat is what we must first address before any other security, be it food security, water security, growth, economy, and development must be tied to security first. Once you have human security, every other thing will follow. But for me, right now, we are not seeing this human security as the biggest challenge, because we are also pursuing other things. But when we squarely have faced these security challenges squarely, other developmental issues can follow. We can overcome. But then,
Well, still on security matters, gunmen have again attacked ZK community in the Basa local government area of Plateau State and reportedly killed at least 30 people. The attack, said to have occurred in the early hours of Monday around 12 a.m., also left many people injured. A youth leader in the community, Joseph Chudu, confirmed the attack in Jos on Monday. He said that the gunmen arrived in the community in large numbers, shooting and burning their houses. The youth leader, who is also the publicity secretary of the Irigwe Youth Movement, called on the urgent action to address the security situation in the state, while appealing for blood donation to help the injured victims. Still on security matters, the traditional rulers in Gwe West local government area of Benue State have warned against negotiating with herders to cede land within the council. This resolution was made at the end of an extraordinary expanded sitting of Gwe West Local Government Traditional Council held on Saturday at the Palace of Tetyoshin in Naka and presided over by His Royal Highness Daniel Abomtse. According to the communique signed by other traditional rulers and prominent people in the council, they called on youths to mobilize themselves to secure their various communities. While controversial singer Akikiola Badmus, popularly known as Portable, has been granted bail in the sum of 1 million naira by an upper area court in Ilorin, Kwara State. This followed his arraignment on charges including criminal defamation, intimidation, inciting public disturbance, and cyber stalking. The court also ruled that his bail is conditional upon the provision of 2 sureties in like sum, one of which must be either the chairman or secretary of the Performing Musician Association of Nigeria, while the other must possess a landed property within a government-reserved area, backed by a valid certificate of occupancy. With that story, we end the news. Do well to follow us on all our social media platforms for more updates and programs. On behalf of the entire news crew, I am Eugenia Solomon. Thank you for watching.